Good afternoon. My name is Rafael Perea, and I'm the interim director of the Tarrant County College's Criminal Justice Training Center Police Academy at the Northwest Campus. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the graduation ceremony of Tarrant County College's Police Academy class number 198. Thank you for those joining us online and being part of this ceremony. I'm also a Major United States Air Force Reserve, serve as a 10th Air Force Security Forces Chief of Training and Readiness at NAS Fort Worth Joint Reserve Base. Before we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, I want to take a second to remind everyone why it's an important part of our ceremonies. Throughout the nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our enemies and allies, and to turn back aggressors. Today, it is my privilege to say thank you to all Americans veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and honor them for their sacrifices. In honor of those who have served our country proudly, it is my pleasure to introduce the following cadets. Cadet Seth Wagner, United States Marine Corps, E3, Lance Corporal, 3 years. Cadet Christian Mutters, Army National Guard, E4 Specialist, 3 years. Cadet Ismael Esquivel, United States Marine Corps, First Lieutenant, 4 years. Cadet Ivan Lerma, United States Marine Corps, E4 Corporal, 4 years. Cadet Clayton Watkins, United States Marine Corps, E5 Sergeant, 5 years. Cadet Dennis Snyder, United States Navy, E5 Petty Officer 2nd Class. Cadet Philip Viola, United States Army, E4 Specialist, 5 years. And Cadet Justin Foydick, United States Marine Corps, E5 Sergeant, 5 years. Cadet Christian Mutters will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the pledge. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms.
Cadet Seth Wagner will lead us in the invocation.
Please bow your heads and pray. Dear Lord, we come to you today and we say thank you for all the hardships that Class 198 has suffered through with COVID-19 and going through the harsh realities of the Police Academy. Lord, we ask that you preserve our peace, allow us to be the peacekeepers out there that you call us to be in Matthew 5:9. So Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for just persevering with us and being by our side every second of it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please take your seats. It is an honor to introduce the staff of the Criminal Justice Training Center. Our students are surrounded daily by this great talent. We are passionate about imparting the knowledge that will lead to graduating great officers who will protect us. I would like to recognize those who make these graduations possible, the Criminal Justice Training staff, which most of them aren't here because of COVID-19, but I appreciate you and everything you do. I will start out with Jim McGregor, who is our coordinator for the Basic Peace Officer Academy and in-service training. Shay King, the Basic Academy coordinator. Damon Ng, in-service training coordinator. And I have Chief Cody Phillips of the Haltom City Police Department, who's going to address the keynote address. Thank you. And later on, we'll talk about Jennifer Hall. She's also one of our dignitaries up here. In addition to the Criminal Justice Training Center staff, we're blessed to have the support of the leadership team we have at Northwest Campus. And on behalf of the Criminal Justice Training Center, I'd like to extend our appreciation and recognition of those leaders. Dr. Sarina Blackenbaker, President of the Northwest Campus. Dr. Serafin Garcia, Assistant to the President. Dr. Kirsten Cooper, Executive Director of Community Education and Engagement. Dr. Judith Gallagher, Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Jan Clayton, Vice President for Student Development Services. Dean Sonia Brown, the Dean of Public Services, Social and Behavioral Sciences. Because of their support and leadership, insight, and recommendations from our advisory council, we're able to do what we do. Last but not least, Tarrant County College and Criminal Justice Training Center would like to also acknowledge the agencies that entrusted us at the Tarrant County College Police Academy with them and their support. Members of the Bedford Police Department under the leadership of Chief Jeff Gibson. Members of the Colleyville Police Department under the leadership of Chief Michael Miller. Members of the Flower Mound Police Department under the leadership of Chief Andy Cancel. Members of the Fort Worth Fire Department under the leadership of Chief Jim Davis. Members of the Granbury Police Department under the leadership of Chief Mitch Galvan. Members of the Grand Prairie Fire Department under the leadership of Chief Robert Fite. Members of the Haltom City Fire Department under the leadership of Chief Brian Jacobs. Members of the Haltom City Police Department under the leadership of Chief Cody Phillips, who's here with us. Members of the Hood County Sheriff's Office under the leadership of Sheriff Roger Deeds. Members of the North Richland Hills Police Department under the leadership of Chief Jimmy Perdue. Members of the Roanoke Police Department under the leadership of Chief Jeremy Miller. Members of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office under the leadership of Sheriff Bill Wayborn. And members of the University of North Texas Police Department under the leadership of Chief Ed Reynolds. And lastly, members of the Wise County Sheriff's Office under the leadership of Sheriff Lane Aiken.
It is important that we take a moment to reflect on the hard work, commitment, and sacrifice that it takes to complete this course of instruction. Class 198 began their journey on January 6th of 2020. And over 22 weeks, members of the class spent hours and hours learning law and criminal procedure, arrest techniques, defensive techniques, and firearms training. We pushed them to become more comfortable with being uncomfortable, to be able to stand the rigors and demands of policing. For 776 hours, over a period of 97 training days, cadets were pushed to learn, to perform, and to start thinking and acting like law enforcement professionals. It bears mentioning here that hard work was born not only by the students, but by their families. Through the years, it has become very apparent to me that a key element for most of us in law enforcement, if we wish to have a productive and satisfying career, is a supportive and understanding family. The graduates themselves are justifiably proud of what they have accomplished, as they should be, and all should take this time to reflect on their success. For those who have been to our graduations before, we have started asking the classes to share a little bit about themselves. We want to make our graduations more focused on the class and to the individual members. We asked Class 198 if they would mind sharing a few things. Some of their previous careers are a seminary student, railroad conductor, jailer, and a home beer brewer. One of our cadets is a native Canadian. One plays the ukulele. One cadet drove 158 miles round trip to the academy every single day. 7 cadets have an associate's degree. 4 of the cadets have a bachelor's degree. 1 cadet has a master's degree. Thank you again.
It is my honor to introduce to our keynote speaker, Chief Cody Phillips. Cody Phillips was appointed Chief of Police in May of 2016. Chief Phillips began his career as a public safety officer in 1996 and has over 20 years of experience in law enforcement. He was hired in October of 1999 by the Haltom City Police Department as a police officer. While serving for the Haltom City Police Department, Chief Phillips has served as a patrol officer, a training officer, a detective, and SWAT operator. In 2008, he was promoted to corporal and assigned to the Professional Standards Unit, where he served until his promotion of 2009 to patrol sergeant. He was promoted to captain in 2015. And as captain, he oversaw night patrol operations, K9, and the implementation of the CAD RMS system, and with the shared service partner cities of North Richland Hills, Watauga, and Richland Hills. During his tenure, Chief Phillips was selected by his peers for Rookie Officer of the Year and Supervisor of the Year on 3 occasions. Chief Phillips has his Master's Peace Officer license, is a TICO licensed police instructor, and a graduate of the Institute of Law Enforcement Administration Police School of Supervision. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Tarleton State University. Let's please welcome Chief Phillips.
All these guys are a lot shorter than I am. Try to talk so I can look at y'all. It makes it a little easier for me. So good afternoon, class 198, sorry. I'm dyslexic too. I appreciate y'all's class logo so much that I actually bought one of your t-shirts, you know, the Don't Sneeze on Me. It really touched me, and I had to buy one from one of my firefighter buddies. With all the obstacles that have been placed in your path during the time of your academy, I hope this speech doesn't add to it. I've sat through a lot of these graduation speeches and listened to them, and some that were inspirational, some that made me really think, and then some that I wish would end as soon as they started talking. When I sat down to start preparing for this speech, there were so many things I wanted to talk to you about, and had a lot of difficulty narrowing it down to with everything that's going on in the world today. I reflected on the past speeches to help guide me. You know, listen to those individuals speak about integrity, honor, what to expect, how to act, and so on. But while sitting on a video conference, not paying attention, of course, it hit me on what I should talk to you about. You. You have had all the training in the academy. You'll receive more training when you get to your respective agencies. You'll receive training throughout your career. They'll focus on what they want you to become. They'll focus on what they want you to do. But what about you? You're the most important part of the equation. You're the one that can make or break that organization. You're the one that is representative of the profession that you just joined. As we've recently seen, decisions that you make in seconds based on your training and experience can not only affect the individual you're dealing with, but an entire nation. That decision can unite and divide people. It can be a catalyst for change, whether good or bad. I'm going to ask you one question, and don't worry, nobody's going to have to answer or get up here and respond. But why did you choose law enforcement? It shouldn't be a quick answer. You should have to really dig deep. But be truthful with yourself when you figure out what your why is. And do me a favor, never forget what you identify as your why. Use your why to drive you to make the profession better, to continue to make yourself better, make others around you better, make your agency better, and make your community better. You're going to be involved in situations that will make you question your why. You're going to be ridiculed, called names, assaulted, looked down upon, and possibly refused service just because of the uniform you wear. So at this point in my speech, I had a very motivational piece written, but last night we had a protest, and after that protest, I attended a briefing, and I saw a letter that somebody printed out in our briefing room and hung on the wall. I don't know who the writer was or where they got it from, but after reading it, I felt compelled to read it to you all. I apologize because it's going to make this speech a lot longer, but you're all kind of held hostage right now anyway. Dear rookies, grew up in the post-9/11 era. You saw first responders as those heroes on the home front, rushing into those burning towers at the Pentagon. Somewhere along the line, you started learning names that stuck in the public consciousness: Martin, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Botham Jean. The names of cities that had been rocked by strife and unrest that rang in your ears while you were in the hallways of your schools, military bases, college campuses: Sanford, York, Baton Rouge, Dallas. You saw the us, them played out in the headlines. You felt called. Despite the division, Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter, the knowledge, incident, one mistake, your career, tarnished your reputation forever, and even take away your freedom. You stepped. You saw people who are willing to make a difference in their communities. You're willing to write your beat, write this type of write your city, your state, your country, blank check. Life as a willingly walk the line of the most criticized existence. You took tests, you intensive interview board assessments, psychological graphs, and invasive. You told C applied to that you'd never told worthy. You learning the video after went scenario after sweated, stressed, all the best version of yourself. One who are 10 that you sew into your chest. It weighs in ounces of responsibility and pride you own. I want you to hire me. If I'd grown up in the same, I may have chosen different. I want you to know, in Blue Line together, in belief in this profession, noble bolster belief. Of law enforcement, this experience where a tragic case in one of their community, one that unrelated in the death, feels flame, your family, your opinion, actions from your shift mates, because you handle this or understand. If you weren't there serving that community, why? Let me tell you, it's all of our problems. We're all judged, just as you are. People so-and-so did wrong. All cops are bastards. They don't examine the circumstances of an individual or understand what grand objective reasonableness. Sometimes in the public truly viral snippet of a cell phone, dash cam or body cam. Sometimes a thing at all. This is one of those times. Make kneeling on someone's justified. Just as that we are responsible for fire in a gunfight, we're all responsible for the actions. We don't know it costs lives. What we stand for, mistakes are going to happen. Someone underserving you die at the hand. I don't think any of us are depending on that happening. It does and will again. So what do? Next, you hold your uniform back on the street where you're needed. Talk to the citizens. This is off when you talk to them. You respond to the most important. Elect the squad car. Over amount of force when necessary. You use distance, cover, decision for suspects. Officer presence and tactics you were taught. Drive your squad safely. The light objective force field around. You explain your actions so as to give those working with on the street and occurring and why interest. I've often used jail or go home, making their options obvious in the part a stark reality. You utilize the most on the street, the space between judiciously. Breath when you're stressed, respond and not to react. You set the example. Gandhi said, "You wish to see in the world." This has been trivialized, used, and things, but it also you who answered the call. My call, not tonight. Still glad the heaviest few ounces you'll ever. Remember, this is you chose knowing the and you swore that oath. That's what I mean. Go out there and prove your. Do what you swore. Be the for them. Sorry, it was. I had a lot written prior to reading that, and really touched home because they really are. Because it's. I honestly can say back 9, and these chose law enforcement. Y'all conscious and despite all the turmoil in the world, in your really going out there and making. So honestly, think about this and never lose. Never forget that. Keep your friends, your family, and communicate them. Don't just tell them the stuff. Make sure you maintain. Okay. Thank you all for asking me to speak. I'm humbled by this opportunity for y'all. Each of you for choosing this profession. Again, and I'm you sisters and brothers. I love you and Chief, so to see careers, and if you're anything, I will do whatever I can to help you. You're now a part of my family.
Thank you for taking the time to 98, and here's a get as a here's a thank you, Chief. I appreciate it. Joshua Thomas of the North Department, come forward to class speech.
Start by thanking Mr. Prager, Mr. King. We're even here right now. Without you pushing to the academy on standby, and not because of the coronavirus. We have you to through. I would also like to thank North Richland Hill, as well as every other agency today for investing in and giving us the chance to have what it takes. I want to thank Cadet Walker, shirts made, making a class video, Livingston, and all needed. No denying that class with adversity throughout. We were told the guinea pigs for the new was putting out. Tough, but the IRG. I think we can all agree on better known as 1251. So first class to be on the coronavirus decided before we were supposed to get, but why would any? Am I right? A month of being stuck at home on hours of online to get the kids to clean their and 30-minute lunch. They got to come back to the 6 feet apart, and needless to say, roadblocks along the way. Now that we're done, I would do it all over again. One thing I wanted to do with, from or yesterday, be held to a higher standard. No longer just the guy in the line at the grocery store, to the gas station. Responsible, well as others. Always be observant. Face the door if you're in, because just the career field and the form unfortunately makes profession during an interesting, but we all qualities we need to be in our communities. Us, mine, still have a in service for a few field training, right into field training. This is supposed to be a positive, but looking ahead, because deal. Feelings of excitement, interacting with the community, and almost all of my life. Also being able to decide to break the along with excitement, nervousness, and uncertainty, because I don't know if this is me, because I absolutely, but because and the fear of failure. I know better than will make mistakes. Part of it that would make in law enforcement life. But I hope all of you need to do a lot of good for me. In a law enforcement family, raised to trust and respect. I was also raised to, even if they don't, I do. Seeing the divide between those who don't like the police and those who do. You may not agree one way or the other, but we don't get to have an opinion anymore. And that is okay, because it is why we chose this profession. Not only to enforce the law, but to ensure that people get to enjoy their rights and freedoms, to protect the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. As many of you know, I like to be short and straight to the point, so I will leave you with this. An easy road never led to a great destination.
Strong, solid leadership is an important part of a law enforcement organization. It is also important in the academy environment. To lead in such a setting requires commitment, character, dedication, diligence, desire, motivation. Obviously, this list could go on and on. With that said, it is important that we recognize and show appreciation to those members of Class 198 who served in leadership roles. We would like to recognize the class leaders and present them with the collar brass they wore during the academy. When I call your name, please come to the stage. Class Lieutenant Joshua Thomas of the North Richland Hills Police Department. Squad 1 Sergeant Denzel Douglas of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Squad 2 Sergeant Justin Foytick of the Fort Worth Fire Department. Squad 3 Sergeant Stephanie Booth of the Bedford Police Department. And Guidon Sergeant Ismael Esquivel of the Haltom City Police Department. Thank you. Have a seat. We will now recognize members of the class who are receiving individual awards. The Class Leadership Award is presented to the cadet that was selected as the class lieutenant, the senior leadership position in an academy class. In addition to the heavy academic and physical stresses inherent with the academy experience, this cadet shoulders a substantial responsibility for the well-being and maintenance of their peers. Will Joshua Thomas please come forward? For presentation of class valedictorian, the Academy's highest academic honor, will Justin Foydick please come forward? For presentation of class salutatorian, the second highest academic honor possible, will Nathan Livingston please come forward? Presentation of the award as most physically fit is presented to the graduate that held the best average of all three 2,000-meter rowing tests. Will Justin Foydick please come forward? The Marksmanship Award is presented to the cadet demonstrating the highest level of proficiency and accuracy during firearms training. Will Evan Lerma please come forward? Presentation of honors as the most distinguished recruit is an award given to a cadet who is voted by their peers as having attained the highest level of accomplishment and pure respect as a member of the class. Will Justin Foydick please come forward? No, come here. You, come here. The Nick Fowler Award is presented by the graduating class to an instructor considered to hallmark the highest traditions of teaching and academic excellence. This award is made in the memory of Irving police officer Nick Fowler. Our award recipient, Jennifer Hall, graduated from the TCC Police Academy in 1989 and served the Hearst Police Department from 1989 through 2014. Some of her assignments during her time with Hearst were as a tactical team designated marksman, background investigator, field training officer, firearms instructor, and Citizens Police Academy instructor, just to name a few. She holds a Master Peace Officer Proficiency Certificate from the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas at Arlington, a master's degree from Texas Women's University, and is a graduate of both the Institute for Law Enforcement Administration's Management College and School of Police Supervision programs. Please join me in welcoming the Nick Fowler Award recipient for Class 198, Miss Jennifer Hall. Go pose. Go pose with her. Go pose with her.
We will now present the members of the 198th Academy class certificates of completion and the TCC Criminal Justice Training Center Challenge Coin. Challenge coins are carried by soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, as well as lawmen and firefighters. These coins identify the holder as a member of a particular unit with a well-defined history and mission. The Tarrant County College Criminal Justice Training Center has designed our own challenge coin for our Basic Peace Officer Academy graduates. These coins are only awarded to graduates of the Academy. At this time, will the class leader present the members of the 198th Academy for the awarding of certificates? As I call your name, step forward, and congratulations on your success, for yours is a job well done. During their time in the Academy, the cadets have had the opportunity to learn Achievement Award bars. These awards include prior military service, physical fitness, marksmanship, and academic achievement. As each graduate takes the stage, any achievement awards they earned will be noted next to their photograph. I will now call out the cadets' names in alphabetical order, and they will be presented with their graduating diplomas. You go back over to your seat. Officer Andrew Beringer of the Colleyville Police Department. Officer Stephanie Booth of the Bedford Police Department. Officer Gina Bruton of the North Richland Hills Police Department. Deputy Curtis Berkey of the Wise County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Stephen Burge of the Hood County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Caleb Calvary of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Zachary Cox of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Denzel Douglas of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Officer Ismael Esquivel of the Haltom City Police Department. Engineer Justin Foydick of the Fort Worth Fire Department. Officer Daniel Grady of the Bedford Police Department. Officer Evan Lerma of the Flower Mound Police Department. Deputy Nathan Livingston of the Hood County Sheriff's Office. Officer Christian Mutters of the University of North Texas Police Department. Deputy Pablo Paulino of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Michael Portillo of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Officer Samantha Santoyo of the Haltom City Police Department. Officer Nigel Sewell of the Bedford Police Department. Officer Dennis Snyder of the Bedford Police Department. Officer Joshua Thomas of the North Richland Hills Police Department. Lieutenant James Trimble of the Haltom City Fire Department. Lieutenant Philip Viola of the Grand Prairie Fire Department. Officer Seth Wagner of the Granbury Police Department. Officer Clint Walker of the Flower Mound Police Department. Officer Clayton Watkins of the Bedford Police Department. Officer Olivia Wilson of the Roanoke Police Department.
As Cadet Wilson is walking back, ladies and gentlemen, we wish to sincerely thank you for celebrating their accomplishment online. Now to the graduating class, I want to say congratulations to you. You have been the chosen ones. You started in January when there's no pandemic, and there's a pandemic now. So I appreciate your patience and everything you've done, obviously in persevering through this difficult time. So I congratulate you. You are the chosen ones. We will now conclude the ceremony by asking the class leader to please conduct the final dismissal. There's cookies over here for you if you want a cookie.